Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Lauren L. here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope all of you had a great Halloween weekend. I know that I did. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to start the show off today with a quote. We walk on two legs, not on four. To walk on four legs breaks the law. What happens when we break the law? That's from the song No Spill Blood by Oingo Boingo, a very interesting group that I encourage everybody to look into. Starting off the show now, I'm going to tell you about some local events going on this weekend. I don't have a lot on the list, and actually, I'm always on the search for local events happening, whatever is great for the community. So if you have anything or know of any shows or events, let me know. You can email me at laurenlhighdesert@gmail.com, or you can go to laurenlofthehighDesert.com. On November 8th, which is this coming Saturday, there will be a solar potluck that will be held at the Joshua Tree Trading Post, and this is hosted by a group called Transition Joshua Tree. To learn more about this event, you can call Joe Fairbanks at 760-490-6287, and it starts at 10. Another event going on this weekend that's actually a really big event is the Gay Pride event in Palm Springs. It's going on from starting on November 7th and goes all the way through the 9th. There will be a free block party and a parade. I actually have a press release up right now from the event, so let me give you some details. The Greater Palm Springs Pride Celebration offers free festival admission. Wow. Moves to a new location in downtown Palm Springs, introduces a new parade route, and offers an unprecedented number of performers and attractions with a diverse lineup of artists gathered to celebrate equality, freedom, and diversity in the LGBT community. They will be featuring musicians and artists in these different categories: indie, electropop, rock, dance, hip hop, and more. Considered to be one of the most scenic pride parades in the world, the Greater Palm Springs Pride Celebration marks its 28th anniversary. It will have a free 2-day festival and a parade in downtown Palm Springs, California. And believe it or not, I was looking into this event tonight. I learned that the Psychedelic Furs are playing. One of my side projects is hosting a music group on Facebook, and I do a lot of emphasis on new wave groups, 80s, dark music up until today, and so the Psychedelic Furs are really up there for being a very prominent band in the 80s and have really built this iconic foundation for themselves. I saw them at the OC Fairgrounds a few years ago because they're just so great. They're a really great group, and so yeah, they're playing at the Palm Springs Pride event on Sunday, the 9th, and it's free. It's amazing, at a block party. I'm planning to go to that. I would not turn that down. So that was really exciting. That made my day. And I let them know that too. I let the Palm Springs Pride organizers know that they are amazing. That will be really fun. A recap over this past weekend, coming from me, since it was Halloween weekend, I saw Graham Rabbit at Pappy and Harriet, and they were fabulous as always. I haven't seen Graham Rabbit for so long because I was moving around for so many years. I think I saw them back in 2010 was the last time I saw them live. But I did see Graham Rabbit back in 2000, right after I graduated high school. And so it's really interesting now for me to see them and to just know that, they've come so far, and they've always done their Halloween event every year. So this was a really important thing for me to go to, or it was really special because I know it's their only shows that they're doing all year. So they were really great. I went to another event hosted by Radio Free Joshua Tree called Songwriters in the Ground, and this was held at the Radio Free Joshua Tree Lounge right here in Joshua Tree, and it was a rather small gathering of people who came together to give tribute to musicians who have passed away. And there were many people who performed and had instruments and sang. I actually got up and spoke. I gave a tribute to Roz Williams of one of the original death rock groups from Los Angeles called Christian Death, and I read a spoken word piece from him. So that was really special. And I happened to be Roz Williams for Halloween this year for my costume. So I actually got up and spoke in front of the group. And not only was I referencing to Roz Williams, but I looked like Roz Williams. So fun event, and definitely stood out at this event. But nonetheless, it was really great. I hope they do it next year. I also went to a Tibetan singing bowl session in Yucca Mesa, hosted by 33 Bowls, aka Hans. And this is really an amazing sound session. I encourage everyone to go. I actually learned of Hans about 5 years ago. I went to the Integratron for one of their sound sessions or their sound baths, a public sound bath, and Hans happened to be there to do the sound session, and he brought all of his Tibetan singing bowls, which are basically bronze bowls, and he did the session. So I always remembered that because I personally thought it was, I liked the Tibetan singing bowls better than the crystal singing bowls, which are what they normally have at the Integratron. So Hans is still in the area, and he does do his Tibetan singing bowl sessions here and there. Maybe I can get him on the show sometime to talk about what he does. So that was a really great and relaxing thing to go to. Some news. I recently came across this article today via Facebook, a really great place to learn about what's happening in the area. And it turns out that Gonzo Tacos in Yucca Valley has closed. I don't know how many of you have been to Gonzo Tacos. It was in the Casa Market in Yucca Valley. I came across Gonzo Tacos. Actually, I haven't been to their location before, but I met the owners a couple months ago because they provided food for a Joshua Tree Chamber event. But what happened was Gonzo Tacos, the owner, I don't know what the story is behind them closing, but he put up some pretty aggravated comments, say that, on Facebook. I don't want to repeat what he said because I put that this is a G-rated show, that kids can listen to my show, but I would say that on a G-rated show, at least here on blogtalkradio.com, I would not repeat what was said from Gonzo Tacos about closing. But yeah, it was pretty evident they were frustrated with the community, and so this was an interesting comment to read because a lot of people commented back on what was said, what Gonzo Tacos said on their Facebook page. And some people were really frustrated with them and said, you know, if you don't like our community, then just leave. Some people sympathized with them and said, you know, your food was really good. I really liked your location. It's really sad to see you go. From what I read, it has been said that Gonzo Tacos' Facebook profile was hacked, but at the same time, people question, well, if it was hacked, why hasn't the comment been removed? So I thought this was kind of a comical thing. I mean, sad that, you know, a small local business is closing, but the whole thing just is kind of silly. So anyway, long story short, Gonzo Tacos is no longer there. Gonzo Tacos, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Another piece of news that I came across today that I found to be interesting was Palm Springs now has a plastic bag ban in place. So that means that they will no longer be providing plastic bags as usual, what many of us are accustomed to, of going to a store, buying something, and then having the item placed in a plastic bag so that we can walk out with it. Palm Springs won't allow that anymore. You are required to, actually, I'll correct that. You are not required to bring reusable bags. They will have paper bags available for 10 cents each. So if you opt out of bringing a reusable bag, you can buy paper bags again, for 10 cents each. But of course, really, this is causing people to bring reusable bags. And it is said that at many major locations or commercial locations, there will be durable bags for sale. So if you don't want to purchase the paper bags, you can buy a durable bag and be on your way and hopefully bring that bag with you, bring it back with you the next time you come. And I know people seem to get up in arms about this, but I was an exchange student in Sweden from 2006 to 2007, about 10 months, and they had similar policies in Sweden. Most people brought their own reusable bags to the grocery store because they did not provide plastic bags for free. They did have the option of buying a plastic bag, but it was $1.50 to buy the bag. Now, this wasn't just a thin plastic bag that could only be used maybe once or twice. It was a very thick bag. So you pay $1.50 for the bag, but the bag could basically hold all of your groceries because it was a really thick bag and it could be used many, many times. But most people, at least in the community that I lived in, would bring their own reusable bags. And I actually recall my host dad. I lived with a family when I was in Sweden. They're called my host family. My host dad, when we would go to the store, he actually had a trunk full of reusable bags. And it was just normal for him to get out of the car, take the bags out of the trunk, and we'd go into the store and have everything ready. So now it's interesting to me to be here in the United States, which when I returned here to the United States, I did continue doing that, albeit, yes, I did become lax because when you know that a free item is going to be available to you, yes, it doesn't become so important. I do take reusable bags with me from time to time into the store, actually more often as of recent, due to me relocating up here to the high desert. But I hope that this spreads throughout the low desert and the high desert. I have heard of a statewide plastic bag ban, which I hope will develop and be put in place, because this is really great. It's really not difficult to put reusable bags in your trunk. It really isn't. The only thing that's frustrating to me is that I have seen really cheap bags for sale. They look like they're reusable. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. They're bags that are for sale. They have this really thin material, but again, they look like a reusable bag. And I have bought them before, and I've only gotten maybe 2 uses out of it, which is really strange because the material seems like it would be stronger. So yeah, having a durable bag is really important. But yay for Palm Springs. I'm so happy, and I hope, again, that this will just spread everywhere because it makes total sense. DVD from Oasis, the office supply store in Yucca Valley. This DVD is it's the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan, and it contains documents from the plan meetings. So when I say Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan, I'm actually going to shorten that to DRECP from now on because that's a pretty long name. But yes, I have not been keeping up with the DRECP meeting so much. Actually, this is relatively new to me because I'm on the Morongo Basin Conservation Association mailing list, and they've been sending out information about the DRECP, again, the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan. And there was actually a public hearing last week that was held in Victorville where people were able to go and their opinions about renewable energy development here in the desert. I didn't make it, unfortunately. I'm hoping to get someone on the show in the future who did go or is at least knowledgeable of it and can kind of break down what this is all about in terms of what the concerns are of the communities and then the developers and the commercial developers. because this is actually a pretty big deal, is renewable energy growth in the desert. I know that we hear about it all the time, and we've seen it. We've seen these solar farms go up. I haven't been to the sites out. I don't even know what the areas were called, but here in the Riverside County, San Bernardino County, out in the more remote locations. But I know that in Desert Hot Springs, there's been small solar farms established. So, I mean, this is a really big situation in terms of development in rural areas. But again, I picked up this DVD that has a lot of notes, and it has information that was put together by scientists and people who have done studies to figure out exactly what the future should be for renewable energy in the desert. And so this is really great information. I will actually read to you something from the document. It's not too long, but it's about the history of the DRECP, which that's always one of my favorite things to learn about whenever I'm studying something like this, some kind of policy development. I like to know about the history and why this policy is being put in place, why it's being developed, where did it come from, why are we doing this? I mean, that's always on my mind, because if we're working on this now, there must be a history behind it. We get to where we are today for a reason. So there was some history mentioned on the intro document on the DVD, and I'll read it to you. The Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan planning process began in late 2008, building from California's earlier experience with the Renewable Energy Transmission Initiative, which for the first time incorporated land use planning into the statewide planning process for electric transmission facilities. On November 17, 2008, Governor's Executive Order S-1408 directed the CEC and the California Department of Fish and Game, which is now called the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, to develop a Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan. In early 2009, the Department of Interior issued Secretarial Order 3285. As part of the order, federal agencies were encouraged to work with state, tribes, local governments, and other stakeholders to identify appropriate areas for the renewable generation and transmission, and to develop best practices to ensure environmentally responsible development of these resources on public lands. In March 2009, the REAT, I don't know what that stands for, the REAT agencies kicked off the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan with a series of public meetings and to discuss ideas for facilitating renewable energy development while planning for natural resource conservation in the plan area. Input gathered during more than 40 meetings involving agencies, tribes, scientists, and the public since 2010. I'll read this last paragraph to you. Thereafter, the REAT agencies established a stakeholder advisory committee and independent science advisory panel. From 2010 to 2013, this partnership of agencies, stakeholders, and scientists held public meetings to develop the baseline and scientific information necessary to create the draft Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan presented in this document. Additional opportunities for public participation and comment will occur over the next several months. The plan area for the DRECP encompasses the Mojave Desert and Colorado Sonoran Desert ecoregion subareas in California and includes all or portions of the following counties: Imperial, Inyo, Kern, Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego. The plan covers approximately 22.5 million acres. Certain lands such as military, tribal, urban, and open off-highway vehicle areas are included within the plan area but are not considered for renewable energy development or conservation in the DRECP planning process. so are termed other lands in the DRECP. So this is really important because the draft has been put together. Again, it is on this DVD, which you can pick up at Oasis. There are a couple other locations that I don't know of right offhand, but if you contact the Morongo Basin Conservation Association, they will tell you. I think there's a location in Joshua Tree that has the DVD. But yeah, you pick up the DVD and it has the draft information on it, which it is fairly involved. There is a lot going on in terms of scientific development and cultural and tribal information relating to renewable energy development out in the desert. But this is something actually really cool to have your hands on. At least I think it's cool that I have my hands on it because there's so much information about the desert on this disc. For example, there's information about air quality, meteorology and climate change, geology and soils, flood hazard hydrology and drainage, groundwater supply, biological resources, cultural resources, Native American interest, paleontological resources, land use and policies, agricultural land and production, BLM lands and realty, BLM land designations, mineral resources, livestock grazing, wild horses and burros, outdoor recreation, traffic, visual resources, noise and vibration, public health, socioeconomics, lands and operation. So there's a lot of information on here. All of those subjects are pretty involved studies. And so this was really exciting to me because actually, to give you some information about me, I went to Humboldt State as a geology major. To be honest, my interest in all of this, my foundation to my show here, really has a lot to do with my background in geology. I first took geology, like my official geology class at College of the Desert down in Palm Desert in, I would say, probably 2009 or 10, around that time. And this class was really interesting to me because we talked a lot about septic systems, construction, and how geology impacts these really critical parts of development and how we live our daily lives. I mean, you know, we hear all the time, right now, the big story in Yucca Valley is pollution in the groundwater due to septic tank mismanagement. And so this obviously deals a lot with geology and groundwater and water analysis, and it's impacting people's lives, it's impacting the economy. I realized in geology at College of the Desert how important geology is and how we need to, you know, really pay attention to the earth and the earth's structure and the soils, the water, where are the resources that we need and how do we protect those resources. And so from being in this class, and I actually went on to study geology for a period of time, it's just it's brought to light to me how important it is to be aware of geology, of hazards, land, agriculture, and related topics. So yes, for me to have my hands on this information is so cool because they actually have a map in the geology section that points out which parts of these counties are volcanic areas, which are granitic areas. And this is just free information. This is information that you can pick up again at Oasis Office Supply in Yucca Valley. And this is all critical for understanding what's happening out in the desert in terms of what kind of impact any kind of construction will have. So yes, hopefully I will have someone who is more knowledgeable of this on the show in the future who can kind of break down this information in terms of what are the highlights, because it is a lot of information to go through. But yeah, please go pick it up, have this on hand, educate yourself on these subjects, and you know, when you communicate with people, you will have this information on hand and have it be available. So that's really, really important. That closes up my show for today. I always welcome news. I like to keep my ear open for what's going on in the community, what's happening, and what's going to impact people, what's going to impact the economy. If you know of any information, let me know. If you come across an article, then please share it with me. You can email me at laurenlhighdesert@gmail.com. Hi is always spelled H-I. So go to laurenlofthehighdesert.com and you can email me directly through my website. The best place to contact me actually is through Facebook. I have a Facebook page called Lauren L. of the High Desert. If you search for it, you can find it. And I post a lot of updates on there pretty frequently. You can message me on Facebook, and I will for sure respond in a timely manner, at least within the same day. So any information you have, let me know. If you know of anyone who wants to do a giveaway, oh, I totally forgot to mention that. Okay, if anyone's still listening, I have a giveaway. It's for Nomad Ventures in Joshua Tree, given to me from Climbing Life Guides, located here in Joshua Tree. The discount is 20% off any full price helmet or 10% off any sale price helmet or 15% off any full price item. This coupon expires November 18th, 2014, so you better claim it. I'm giving it away. Let me know who wants it. Again, discount on helmet or any full price item. This is really great for the rock climbing community or if you're new to rock climbing. If any of you have a business or would like to give something away on my broadcast, feel free to contact me. It's a great way to promote your business or promote your service or whatever it is that you're doing. And I will give a shout out to you. I'm going to mention this on Facebook and mention it in local communities that I'm giving away this discount. So that's what I do. If you give something away, that's what I do for promotion on your behalf. And it's just something really cool to do, to give something away to promote yourself. I hope everyone has a great week. And I will be doing another broadcast sometimes next week. This broadcast will also be available on Radio Free Joshua Tree. Message me if you would like to know more. All right? Thanks a lot. And again, enjoy your week.